All right, I will call this regular meeting to order. Before we begin, I'd like to ask any of the board members if they have any items to add to the agenda.
Madam President, I'd like to add an item to the agenda.
Mr. Hidalgo.
The items is as follows: that the Lafayette Parish school system provide to all special ed gifted and ESL students school bus scheduling and routing equal to that of in-zone students and in accordance with LPSS policy EDD.
Second.
Okay. I just called the regular meeting to order. Yes, I did. All right. So any public comment on adding this matter to the agenda? Okay. Members of the board? All right, Madam Secretary. This is just to add it to the agenda. Madam Secretary, I'll call for the vote. We'll do a voice vote if that's okay, Madam Secretary. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, if everyone would please stand for the pledge in a moment of silence.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dr. Aguilar, do you have any opening comments?
I do. Thank you. Members of the board and the public, LPSS has been incredibly busy providing professional level in-service training for over 4,000 of our employees. On July 24th, 25th, and 26th, we trained approximately 300 school administrators and district staff at the Leadership Conference. National keynote speakers Willow Sweeney and Paul Bernabe advised staff how to stay above the line and to build school culture. On July 28th, 31st, and August 1st were the dates of the new teacher induction, in which approximately 200 new teachers learned about insurance, law, financial practices, academics, and grading practices. On August 3rd and 4th, district personnel attended best financial practices, and teachers attended academic professional development. During the optional teacher in-service day, teachers attended to hear Paul Bernabe and attended academic sessions. We had 1,402 teachers attend the August 4th optional teacher in-service day. That is approximately 70% of the teacher population. A sample of what teachers could attend in MAT has been provided for you. I also want to thank Mrs. Samick and her academic team for spring and summer preparation for the August in-service. I want to specifically express my appreciation to Mr. Craig, Mr. Guidry, Mrs. Thibodeau, Mr. Hebert, and Ms. Aloisio for delivering important information to our staff. I'm pleased to report that Westside Elementary School started the year at their new location in Scott. Work on the old Westside building is progressing nicely, and students and parents express pleasure being back home in Scott. The temporary building is located behind Scott Middle School. Congratulations also to everyone involved in the construction and opening of the new Southside High School. It is an incredible building, and unbelievable that this building had not yet been conceived 24 months ago, and yet we opened today, and there were 679 students registered at Southside High School this morning. Today, the Louisiana Department of Education released the results from the 2017 ACT exam, and Lafayette Parish earned an ACT composite average of 20.1, up from 20.0 last year. Lafayette Parish ranks in a tie for 13th among districts in the state of Louisiana. Schools worthy of recognition for their composite ACT scores are Early College Academy with 24.1 composite, Lafayette High 22.5, and David Thibodeau STEM with 19.9. Also worth mentioning were the increases achieved in some of our subgroups. The African American subgroup increased 0.3 points and the economically disadvantaged subgroup increased 0.7 of a point. Congratulations also in that the College Board has announced the AP Scholars for high schools, and I am pleased to announce Lafayette Parish School System has a total of 93 awards, 3 scholars at Acadiana High, 1 at David Thibodeau STEM, and 89 at Lafayette High School. We will conduct a press release soon identifying those names. And as of this morning, members of the board, we had a record number of students enrolled in the Lafayette Parish School System. In fact, we stand today at 30,280 students. That's our MFP student count. Last year, on October 1, the school system had 29,559 students. We have today 721 students above our October 1 count from last year. When we add our pre-K students to the number, we are educating today on record 31,142 students in the district. And that concludes my remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Aguilar. Next on the agenda is Human Resources Personnel Changes.
Yes, ma'am. The changes for the month are attached. I'll turn it over to Ms. Thibodeau for 2 introductions.
Good evening, Madam President, Board. Before I get started, I just want you to know that this morning we have hired 280 employees this summer. So new employees, we're excited for them to all get started. The first person I'd like to introduce is Jamila Hicks. She will be the new K-5 ELA elementary school specialist. Ms. Hicks earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in Early Childhood Education from Northwestern State University. She earned a Master of Education degree in Educational Leadership and a Master's plus 30 from UL Lafayette. Her experience includes teaching at J. Wallace James Elementary for 9 years and serving as an itinerant assistant principal at Truman Montessori and Prairie Elementary School before becoming assistant principal at J.W. Falk Elementary for 2 years. Her most recent position has been as principal at J.W. Falk Elementary School. Ms. Hicks has been an LEF Award recipient, Teacher of the Year nominee, and Elementary School Principal of the Year nominee. Congratulations, Ms. Hicks, on your new appointment as K-5 ELA Elementary School Specialist.
Good evening, everyone. I stand before you this evening honored and humbled. Being appointed as the K-5 ELA academic specialist has been a dream of mine for many years, and getting a job such as this one was the very reason that I got my master's degree in ed leadership. We have some phenomenal teachers and administrators in this district, some of whom I've had the pleasure of working with and meeting during my 16-year tenure here in Lafayette Parish. I'm very excited about the opportunity to work alongside these amazing leaders as we continue to grow readers, writers, and thinkers across the parish. It's been so rewarding to work with Ms. Samick and the other academic specialists. I'd like to thank God for blessing me with this opportunity and my husband for putting up with me and being neglected for the past 6 years that I was an administrator. Hopefully that will change now. I'd also like to thank everyone who has encouraged me and motivated me to be a better professional. I take pride in my work. That's my name and my legacy, so I assure you that I will continue to give Lafayette Parish School System my very best as I serve in this new role. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to introduce to you the new principal of Broadmoor Elementary School, Mr. David Zielinski. Mr. Zielinski received his bachelor and master degrees from LSU. He started his education career as a social studies teacher and swimming and track coach at the Episcopal High School in Baton Rouge. He also served as the dean of students and head of the upper school at the Episcopal High School. Next, he was the founding principal of the East Baton Rouge Laboratory Academy. The last 9 years, he has served as the assistant principal at Broadmoor Elementary School. Mr. Zielinski was a Stretch Award recipient, Gambit Readers Poll Teacher of the Year, and Military Order of the World War's Patriotic Teacher of the Year. Mr. Zielinski is currently a museum fellow at the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. Congratulations, Mr. Zielinski, on your appointment as principal of Broadmoor Elementary School.
Thank you. I'm honored to have been selected to be the principal at Broadmoor. In my last 9 years, I've learned a lot about elementary school, and I have some big shoes to fill from Ms. Cindy Duyon. We had a great opening of school today. We had a great meet and greet on Monday, and I'm working with a fantastic faculty and staff. I'd like to thank Ms. Hicks for coming this morning to help us out with our first day, and I'd also like to thank my dear friend Connie Fontenot. We were both named assistant principals at the same meeting 9 years ago, and she has just recently been named a principal, and we work very closely together and are dependent upon each other for a lot of help. But thank you for the honor of being named principal.
All right, I'll now move to the consent agenda. I'll read each item. Those matters that board members weren't pulled, please advise. 3.1, approval to amend the 16-17 Lafayette Parish Pupil Progression Plan to reflect changes to the first grade report card for reading ELA. 3.2, cooperative endeavor agreement for Southside High Gymnasium floor graphics.
Pull that, please.
3.3, approved bid award Chromebook carrying cases. 3.4, sales tax collection report for June 2017. 3.5, resolution 08171914, support for Ash Industry Inc.'s industrial tax exemption application.
Pull that.
3.6, summary of grant funding and activity, June 2017 final. 3.7, approved bid award early childhood educational supplies, bid 4118. 3.8, grant permission to lease Section 16 property at Ambassador and Ridge, the old Logan site.
Pull that, please.
3.9, approved bid award sports medical supplies, bid 3118. 3.10, listing of bids approved to be advertised by superintendent. 3.11, budget to actual reports, July 2017. 3.12, revision to general fund budget, Chromebooks for middle schools. 3.13, revision to policy DJC payroll procedures. 3.14, approval of minutes. And 3.15, granting permission for LPSS to provide bus service to ESL and gifted students.
Madam President, I move that we approve all items not pulled.
I'll second.
All right. Any comments from members of the public on any of the items that were not pulled for discussion? That would be, we pulled 3.2, 3.5, and 3.8. Okay. Any comments or questions from the board members?
Madam President, I have a question.
Okay.
Mr. Guidry, on 3.4, can you give us a quick synopsis of the sales tax collection report? Really the highlights.
Yes, on page 3 of the report, we have a comparison of actual collections to budget, which are the actual collections came in at about a little over $9 million, better than budget, as well as a comparison to actual collections of prior year, and the net difference is a 0.7% increase for fiscal year 17 over 16. And if you look at it on a monthly basis, on that same page, you'll note that we've had increases in 4 of the last 5 months. So it's encouraging. We're starting to see a trend in that the decreases we had been seeing in the previous year have slowed down, if not actually are started to turn around a bit. So that's the good news with regards to our sales tax collections.
Thank you.
Any questions?
All right, then, Madam Secretary, I'll call for the vote on those items that were not pulled. Dorothy, that motion's not correct.
Yeah, it's ready. You have to revote. Eight, for, none against.
All right, the first matter that was pulled was 3.2, the Cooperative Endeavor Agreement for Southside High Gymnasium Floor Graphics.
Madam President, I move that the board authorize staff to place the attached sign for the Lemoyne Company on the campus of Southside High School for the duration of the warranty period.
Second.
All right. All right, any questions or comments from members of the public on this item? All right, members of the board? Mr. Broussard?
And that is excluding the name on the floor?
Yes.
Yes, please.
So in researching this, Mr. Hammonds was kind enough to inform me of situations where school systems are exchanging things of value with private companies, and doing so kind of opens a can of worms from our point of view, in that as a public body, we're not allowed to discriminate based on viewpoint if an organization wanted to come to us and also advertise on the floor. And so by doing this, and with a perfectly reputable company who's done a great job at Southside, the Lemoyne Company, we would also be opening the door to a company that maybe engages in speech people find objectionable or other reasons. So we would then be legally bound to allow them the same opportunity to advertise in our public facility. And so by avoiding the exchange of something for value and letting Lemoyne put up a sign for the duration of the warranty period on a building that they built, we avoid that while still having the sign.
Mr. Santani, can you repeat your motion? Do you remember?
Motion was that the board authorize staff to place the attached sign for the Lemoyne Company on the campus of Southside High School for the duration of the warranty period.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Broussard.
What does that do for the $19,000? Does that erase that, or?
Yes.
So he gets to put the sign on the wall?
Well, let me say that.
Are you asking that we adopt the cooperative endeavor agreement?
No,
Okay,
I'm not.
okay. Just let's make perfectly clear that.
Perfectly clear that I'm not moving to accept the cooperative endeavor agreement. I am authorizing staff to place a sign for the Lemoyne Company on the campus of Southside High School for the duration of the warranty period.
And the warranty period for
For the school.
the entire school?
Yes, yes. And now, I mean, if the Lemoyne Company if they would like to donate the floor or something like that, that's fine. That would have to be a separate gift to the school system than this. And even then, I think you'd probably make a difficult time convincing somebody that it wasn't an actual exchange of value.
Okay. All right, any additional questions or comments from the board? All right, then, Madam Secretary, I'll call for the vote.
Six for, two against.
All right, the next item pulled was 3.5, Resolution 08171914, Support for Ash Industries, Tax Exemption Application.
Madam Secretary, I'd like to make the motion to support it.
Okay. You have a second?
Second.
All right, second by Mr. Knezik. All right, any comments from members of the public?
Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your time. I'll be very brief. My name is Glenn Edwards. I'm an attorney here in Lafayette, and I have the privilege of representing Ash Industries. I have represented the company since its formation here in Lafayette. The owner of Ash Industries, or the owners, Mr. Hardy Spence and his wife, Kim Davidson Spence, are also here, and they'll speak briefly following me to give you some information about their company and what it is we do. I just wanted to let you know from a legal standpoint why it is we are here. Recently, Ash Industries made an expansion to its facility on the order of about $650,000, and in connection with that expansion was able to secure some new manufacturing opportunities here in Lafayette, which has allowed it at the time of the application with the Louisiana Department of Commerce and Energy to add 6 full-time employees since the filing of that application. And as I indicated in my communication initially with the school board and provided information to Mr. Guidry, they had added 10 full-time positions, and as of yesterday, they are nearing 15 full-time positions because of this addition and because of this extra manufacturing work. 15 new positions at a total payroll of approximately $31,000 per month. So it's quite a bit of payroll added. We are here because they have applied for an ad valorem tax exemption with the Louisiana Department of Commerce and Industry. Prior to the current time, these tax exemptions were available upon recommendation of the Department of Commerce and Industry to the governor, beginning with the election of Governor John Bell Edwards and an executive order issued shortly after his election. The governor's office took the position that it would not in the future grant ad valorem tax exemptions without the applicant securing approval, if you will, or recommendation from the local governing authority of the parish, the local parish school board, and the local sheriff's department, which, one can argue certainly made sense in as much as he was giving away tax exemptions for dollars that would directly affect these bodies. So that executive order came after we had already started our project and begun our project and actually filed our initial application. And so our application got rejected, and we were told to resubmit it after we sought the appropriate approval. Since the time that we delivered this information to the school board and asked to be placed on the agenda, I can advise you that last night at the Lafayette Consolidated Government Council meeting, we secured the approval of the Lafayette Consolidated Government for the ad valorem tax exemption, and we also have secured from Lafayette Parish Sheriff Mark Garber his letter supporting our application for exemption. So that's why we're here legally to secure or request your approval. I'm going to let Mr. Spence tell you a little bit about his company, what he does, what the impact of this is to his company, and basically make our case for why we think granting of this exemption, which means a relatively few dollars to the school board over the next 5 years, would be a wise investment in the economy of Lafayette Parish.
I'm happy to be here for no other reason than it gives me a chance to speak to the school board. I'm a product of Louisiana public education. I had my first job when I was 14 years old, and I was working next to guys that were 3 times my age making the same amount of money. And I realized then I wasn't doing real well in school. I realized then that I needed to do a lot better. My grades improved. When I was finished with high school, at Airline High School in Bossier City, Louisiana, I went away to MIT, got an electrical engineering degree. I'm the first engineer and the first entrepreneur in my family. I came back to Lafayette because my wife's from here, but Louisiana's home. We wanted to be home. At the time we started the company, Louisiana was producing 70% of the nation's raw plastic, taking petroleum products and turning them into pellets and sending them someplace else to be made into car parts, medical parts, what have you. And so we started Ash Industries and started molding using heat. It's not a chemical reaction. We don't have waste products or anything hazardous, but we take the pellets and melt them down, and under pressure form everything from laparoscopic surgical tools for rebuilding people's knees, for allowing people to have children that couldn't have before, for all sorts of fluid handling products for the medical business, industrial products, products for simulating battlefield conditions for soldiers, and even silly things like mustache pacifiers for babies, just so you can take humor in your children. This latest expansion is a different type of process. It's rotational molding, which instead of using high pressure to mold a product, we use a massive, gigantic oven, and we take a mold, we put the plastic in the mold and tumble the mold, heat it, cool it, and pull the part out. Now this allows us to make hollow things like this buoy. This is a buoy system for a company here in Louisiana that was having the products made in Georgia, and we were able to bring that money back to Lafayette. This product right here is a cooler, and y'all may recognize that, but that was being made in Thailand, and the company is transferring their production here to Lafayette. Lafayette company transferring production to Lafayette to create more Lafayette jobs. Our payroll is now, in this new group alone, has exceeded $31,000 a month. And I give tours all the time to students. I'm a firm believer in education. It's done wonders for me. And for the last 25 years, I've interviewed local students yearly, 10 to 15 local students who are applying to MIT. And the students and I work together to see if we can't give them the same type of experience I did, and it's been exciting. I'm probably forgetting something. Does anybody have any questions for me? Okay.
I'd like to know exactly how much is that little amount that the school system would suffer if we voted for this?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. Okay, so the school system's portion comes out to about $287 a month, or about $3,300 a year. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but when it translates up into the actual amount that the state has given me a break on, it's a tremendous amount. This allows us to hire more people, to accelerate who we expose to this new process, the jobs that we have coming in. In addition to this and that, we've just started making a line of products for company for transporting kidney, livers, lungs during transport operations. Very odd containers, but they have to be rotationally molded. And what we've done is our type of business is very common elsewhere. And we go to 15 trade shows a year and bring money back to Louisiana because we found that people just need attention. We convert ideas into finished goods, and if you go to a trade show, and my next one is going to be in Indianapolis. Indianapolis is surrounded by this type of business, but I can stand there at the trade show and talk to people about Louisiana hospitality and how much we care about the product. We'll get the job, and they'll never leave. They'll be our customer forever. And that's how we've grown steadily from myself and my dog living on a couch next to my machine to over 70 employees.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Centani?
What is the duration of the exemption?
Oh, it's 5 years, and we'll pay property taxes on that equipment after 5 years, which we've steadily done over the last 26 years.
So the property tax exemption is on your inventory tax?
The property tax exemption is on the equipment we bought to start this new process. So it's the rotational molding machines, support equipment, stuff like that.
So over 5 years, it's $17,220? Is that what that is?
It is, yes, sir. Well, their portion, yeah, their portion.
Okay, so it's 50,000 total, and so 17,000. All right, so we can go back to the 287 a month, I guess.
Yes,
How many jobs did you say?
Well, right now we're up to about 12 to 15. We keep adding products. These guys came in and they were begging and pleading because they were in a real pickle.
Are these full-time jobs?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So they're getting paid $2,000 a month?
Right. Yes, sir. Well, yes, sir. 31,000 for the payroll for that group.
Okay. All right. Were they? These jobs obviously they've been employed already. They're obviously employed already. Like you've gone ahead with this project that you're seeking the exemption.
Well, yeah, the project started. I mean, we're the machine's making parts.
So would you have done it? Would you have expanded without this?
Well, this is interesting. See, our margins are real tight, and so
it's actually one of my questions. What is your margin on this production?
It's real tight.
Okay,
it's real tight. Margins in plastic molding in general are tight. You have to be real smart about what you do. And money to us is like lubrication in a car engine. So having this allows us to hire more people to buy more equipment. For instance, we found out we could be more efficient if we had a couple more pulverizers for pulverizing plastic, because people don't sell what we need. We have to make it grind the plastic pellets to get the fine powder we need. So without the exemption, it makes it difficult to expand or difficult to hire the people we need. Money just makes things happen easier and gives us more chances to do more sooner.
Okay. So I struggle with this because, you're my hero here in your story.
Yeah.
You are. I'm the same way. My wife's from Lafayette. I'm not from here either. Yeah. I'm from south of I-10 though, so don't let's not get too crazy. The way I finally decided to look at this and making my decision is that, can you convince me, and I'm going to give you every opportunity to do this, can you convince me that me spending $287 a month of the public's money will generate more than $287 a month in increased tax collections? Because it's not enough to say $287 a month and you get $31,000 in payroll. That's not enough.
Right.
It's, am I going to get more than $287 a month in increased sales taxes, or is this $2,000 a month that you're paying going to increase the demand for apartments and houses enough to increase property tax collections to make this a good deal for the taxpayers?
Right, I understand. Sales taxes alone, I would think so. I mean, these are people that may not have been working, or they may have been laid off in the oil field. We have a lot of single moms. We have one heartbreaking case of an employee whose spouse was killed They couldn't find childcare. We were ecstatic today when school started and they get to come back to work because this person knows a lot of stuff. And knows a lot of stuff not because they were pre-trained, but because they're just quick on their feet. And so they get to come back to work. So, yeah, I would think that as a sales tax alone, out of that $31,000 in payroll is going to justify the $287.
What is your increase in sales due to these 15 jobs? Because I'd be able to tell you if sales tax alone would justify it, because we get 2 cents out of every.
That I don't know.
I guess that's assuming you're collecting Lafayette Parish sales tax on your sales, right?
We're hoping that this is going to generate a couple of $1 million in additional sales, but right now it's just starting out.
Okay.
I mean, we're still trying to figure out what we're doing.
Okay.
And that's part of why the exemption helps, because this is all new to us, and we're learning. We have the jobs, we're spending the money on the employees, but obviously it's an investment we're making in hopes that our sales are going to increase. We're on you can drive straight up University, take a left on Willow. We're the first building on the right.
Oh, I know where you're located.
Okay.
I drive past there all the time.
You should stop. It's pretty neat. It's like we make theory come true.
Where do your employees' children go to school?
Well, a vast majority of our employees are from the north side of Lafayette. All but 2 of our key employees are in the parish of Lafayette, so they're all over the place.
Okay.
And we've been around long enough, and people don't leave. Once they come to work for Ash Industries, they stay. And so I've seen a lot of little tiny people grow up into very big people.
Okay. Listen, I don't think I can vote for this. I'm not quite convinced that it's a good deal for the taxpayer, but I'm telling you, you are my hero. Building this company from, it says right here, from a garage into what it is today, and I wish you the best of luck. I really do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Knezik.
Yes, sir. Your primary competition in your industry is overseas?
Well, for this product, on the blue cooler,
product,
yes,
yes,
is overseas. But most of our customers, period, are from outside the state. So we specialize in bringing money back to Louisiana.
But most people that want to buy roto-molded plastics buy them, I would say most of them buy them overseas.
Very likely, yes. We found that in rotational molding, because this is 2 pounds, and so you're shipping air. So there are a lot of companies that need rotational molded products that are buying them from other places. And so we think that there's a golden opportunity to make these parts locally, get more business locally, and expand just on local business alone. For other businesses, like making little medical parts or parts for you name it, those customers are other places. We get a chance to make it, get their money, bring it back to Lafayette, but we haven't had the advantage of a lot of local customers. And so this could completely change things for us. We think it'd be a great deal.
Thank you.
I apologize. I do have one more. I forgot the last one. I promise. If you said earlier that the 3 taxing authorities in the parish need to send a letter of approval before the governor will approve it.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a possibility that he will approve it even if this board declines to send a letter of approval?
They've been pretty adamant. This could sink us, so this is kind of important.
Is it the kind of thing, so I guess the follow-up question was, is it a possibility that they would exempt the portion of the property taxes that the 2 taxing authorities who did send a letter of approval? And this is why I'm asking, because it sounds to me that your company, and this is why we're here, this is why the Lafayette Parish school system exists, is that the people of the parish have the opportunity to give their children an excellent free public education. And it sounds like your company is deriving a great benefit, as it should be, from the taxes that you are actually paying. And to hear your employees are taking advantage of public education is great for us, because it's helping people, it's helping business employ people, it's helping people work for a living, and it's fantastic. And so I'm asking if there's a possibility that LCG and the sheriff would have their taxes exempted with ours not, if we don't approve it. So
I don't believe so.
I don't know the specific question because I haven't answered that way. This is a process because of the new executive order. However, the language of the executive order is very clear that the governor shall not sign an exemption unless you have from LCG, the school board, and it says and the said, the lack of approval here could well the application, but we're certainly going to ask, along the lines of your idea, but nothing in the executive order indicates that.
Thank you. I'm going to vote in favor of this. I'm sorry, ma'am, you can ask him questions afterwards. It's not a question and answer session. I'm sorry. All right. You're more than welcome to speak to the representatives when we're finished with the motion. I'm going to vote in favor because I think that with an exemption such as this, it's not just our body, but it's the sheriff and LCG. So we have to look at it a little bit more globally than just the school system. And economic development is very important. And I know that the community is trying to diversify out of the oil and gas industry, so we're not quite so reliant on that. And because you're local and you've developed locally, I think that's something that should be supported. And I think that in the long run, the money that is being exempted that would come to the school system will be paid back more than adequately.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Angel.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to chime in. Having served many, many years on the Lafayette Economic Development Authority, and I don't know if anyone in the audience is here to collaborate, but generally speaking, from an economic development standpoint, money in a parish, such as, or a county, whatever, turns over about 5 to 7 times. So if we're talking about a $30,000 a month payroll, and you use the lower end 5 times, the money turns over 5 times, then you're looking at $150,000 influx into the parish per month. And an example would be, you go out to eat, but not only do you pay for the meal, but you're helping to pay for the waiter or the waitress who waits on you. You're paying for the person who washes the dishes, the person who cleans the tablecloths. The money turns over. And just by that fact, it's very, very obvious that we would generate much more than $287 or whatever dollars a month, Mr. Edwards, and you said, Mr. Hack, back into the parish economy. So I really think that it's much more of a benefit to allow them to have this $200 and $87 a month ad valorem tax abatement, if you will, in exchange for at least $150,000 a month being generated into our economy every month. And to say that Lafayette, Louisiana is going to produce a product that was heretofore produced in Taiwan, and I have nothing against Taiwan, it's a beautiful country, but some people claim it's China. I'm not sure everybody agrees with that, but I think it's a wonderful opportunity to show that that the citizens of Lafayette are entrepreneurial in spirit and ready to work and ready to do things that perhaps other parishes might not do. And so I really think that it's a great idea to grant this abatement.
All right, if there are no further questions or comments, I'll call for the vote.
Six for, 2 against.
All right, the next matter pulled is 3.8, the permission to lease Section 16 property, Old Logan site. Mr. Knezik.
I move that we approve this lease.
Second.
All right, motion by Mr. Knezik, second by Mr. Santani. Any questions or comments from members of the public on this item? Okay, members of the board? Mr. Knezik.
Comments I have to make are that, sometimes the school system's been criticized for having assets idle and not making money. Here we have property in prime location Lafayette, and we are putting that property to work to generate revenue for LPSS. And I do believe since the business that's existing there is a car lot facility that has increased the property value of that corner from what it was previously. I think this is a good choice for us.
All right, if there are no further questions or comments, I'll call for the vote.
Eight, four, none against.
All right, that was the last matter pulled, so that will conclude this regular meeting. The next meeting is a workshop to discuss transportation. We're going to take a short 10-minute break, and then we will commence that.